A sneak peek at what's coming up next.
To me, I actually like when Meatloaf used to perform.
Yeah.
Have you heard his
Which
son
is
though?
weirdly probably true.
His son's a great singer. Shepherd's Pie. If we were going to have any guests on the show, we would never have Trump on.
Yes.
And he would never do our show anyway. I love autism. Autism's awesome. Some of the greatest people I know are autistic.
Baron,
I love
he's
what they're
autistic.
doing. Oshie, you look at what
Right.
these autistic people are doing. They're just doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Crazy
Like,
work.
I don't know why you just made me regret being autistic all of a sudden, but you did. Thank you, former president guy. Let me know when you're ready, Bob, and then I'll do my intro.
I'm ready when you are.
Great. Welcome to On the Spectrum podcast. My name is Nick.
I'm Steve.
And today we have a guest with us, somebody who's been doing podcasts and entertainment for quite some time. This is Bob with Static Radio Podcast. We're going to interview him today and kind of talk about comedy, improv. We're going to talk about entertainment in general and whatever else kind of comes up. But as I always do at the beginning of every episode for us, me and Steve do not presume to be experts in anything whatsoever. We're just two human beings who happen to be on the spectrum, and we'd like to discuss our lives and ideas and opinions and other topics in general. And Bob, do you presume to be an expert in anything?
I'm an expert in public speaking, apparently. No, I don't know if I'm an expert on anything, but the crazy thing is when you say that, though, you know, the old adage is if you got 10,000 hours of experience, then you're an expert, right? So actually, I'm probably an expert in a lot of things. By that
alone, yeah.
But I don't really, say that I am. I probably should. I probably would be a wealthier person if I just said that.
I think we would be too if we could possibly find what we're an expert in.
I'm an expert in everything.
That's what we can explore today. Let's say we are experts in everything, and you just need to listen to us and shut up and do what we say.
I'm a jack of all trades and master of all too.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So let's first and foremost tell us a little bit about your podcast. I mean, how it started, how it came about, how long you've been rocking it for, what are you focused on?
So, well, the focus is a problem. So we're not really focused on anything, but the show started, I always say it started in January of 1999. We started doing the show. I have a co-host, Miles Title, and we actually did college radio back earlier in the 90s, and we graduated, and we had so much fun doing it. I said, hey, this internet thing seems to be working out. How about I figured out a way to do this on the internet? Do you want to do this?
So you have your career to thank Al Gore for your...
Yeah, that's right. I said, thank Al Gore for making the series of tubes, and I said we could do this. And so he is not a technical person. I guess I'm the technical person in this situation. And so I read a book called How to Write HTML in 7 Days, and I made a website, and we started doing the show. The actual first show was the night of Thanksgiving, 1998, and there was a couple of test shows in through December. And then basically since January of 99, we've done a show a week with very few exceptions.
Wow.
So your podcast is about the same age as Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, well,
he's much older than that.
He's a little older than that, I think. But
Macaulay Culkin's been rocking since the 80s, man. He's
you
roughly
know what I was thinking is didn't Home Alone 2 come out around then? 1998?
No.
I think it was before that. 99, a little later for that. Yeah, I didn't looked it up though. But
see, that's what I get with working with a millennial.
Who was that old? But probably very well.
He's actually about my age.
My daughter, because I started doing this just before she was born. So
okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's wonderful. I mean, not to put a age on things, even though I kind of did already. I actually graduated high school in 99.
Well, there you go. It'll be whenever you have your 20th, or actually you've already had your 20th. Yeah. So whenever you have your 30th reunion, we will have 30 years done at that point. So
wow, that's wonderful.
So, but yeah, and it was a different world back then. It's so different now, and that's kind of why here lately, I've said, well, I want to be a guest on these other things because we've done our show so long. I'm like, wouldn't it be nice? And there's all these kind of cool tools out there now where you can get in touch with people and be guests on other shows, and that's how I ran into you guys. So
absolutely.
But yeah, it's been a long time, and I mean, we basically don't talk about anything. We talk about stuff that happens to us. We usually try to talk about something that's funny or strange, and
like Stonehenge.
Like Stonehenge. Yeah, I went to Stonehenge. I took that picture.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah, and
it's very ominous.
It does.
Well, whatever happens to us. So I mean, it really doesn't matter what it is. It's just whatever happens. I like to say it's a 24-year conversation that happens every week between the two of us. So yeah.
So what did you guys do in college radio? Like what was it?
So the funny thing, I was promotions director for a college radio station, and then Miles wanted to be on the air. For some reason, I said, "Hey, I'll be on the air," because at the time, just like every system, we can get into systems. There's always politics, and so the only airtime was like either late at night or early in the morning. And so I said, "Yeah, I'll go on with you." And so we did the show together, and basically the Static Show is what we used to do, sans music, because whenever in '99, if you remember, Napster was the rage, right?
Yes.
And everybody was getting sued, so we were going to do music, but then we dropped that. And we just did the stories. So that's where it came from, because we used to play music, and then in between songs we'd yuck it up and tell funny stories about things. And we love to read the newspaper and talk about that, but honestly we don't even talk about the newspaper anymore. So it's that's old stuff too. But it's
who
mainly
reads the
focused on our
newspaper?
lives. Who reads the newspaper? Yeah, who reads it anymore?
So
I don't
Steve,
even watch the news.
A lot of
anymore.
newspapers are
Right,
dying
neither do I.
out. People just go online and read news now.
Yeah.
I mean, if even your local newspapers, they have websites now. Like for local papers over here, we live in southeastern Massachusetts, and there's, we have there's a Fall River paper, there's one in New Bedford, but they have websites now where they just post the articles online. I mean,
in fact, they post more articles online than they do in print. Most places do nowadays.
How interesting. Yeah, there's a local paper by me, but I don't read that anymore either. So
Yeah, I mean, what's the
the
point?
Phoenix?
I mean, honestly, why should we bother getting our news from any, legitimate source? We can just look at TikTok.
we can get it from many illegitimate sources.
Yes,
you can I'll just
a
tell
ton
you
of
what the news is today.
Yeah,
Nobody
Fake
wants
news.
mega
Fake
million, so there's
news.
$1 billion hanging out there somewhere. So
Yeah,
Listen, fake news.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Fake
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you guys read this in, the fake news, but Thanos is running for president again in 2024.
Really?
Yeah,
Does he
absolutely.
even need to run? Can't he just snap his fingers and be done with it?
Well, he decided that didn't work out the last time, so he decided to go through actually an electoral process this time around. I mean, I've been voting for him since 2016.
Somebody got to him, and he's in the system now, so he's screwed.
Yeah, he's funded by the Rockefellers. That's it. Yeah.
Really? I thought maybe he was funded by like High C or something, because he's kind of a purple guy.
they ditched the other guy. Yeah.
Brought to you by Welch's Grape Juice.
Yeah, Welch's Grape Juice. Yeah, it's a good one there. Maybe something like
pretty
that.
awesome.
Yeah.
So when it came to our podcast in particular, just to kind of ask this question because I'm a little curious, what made you reach out for our podcast in particular?
Well, we had a short conversation before we started recording. So you guys say you're on the spectrum. Well, I've always suspected there's people and relatives in my family who are. I'm older than you guys, and so at the time that really wasn't a thing. When you were a kid, they didn't really talk about it or anything. They just thought you were odd or weird,
right?
And
I mean, that's still
so over the years, I'm not saying those are negative connotations. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's just the descriptors.
And so then, but over the years, I've determined I haven't gone to seek an actual diagnosis or anything because everything's hunky dory. But So you mentioned, so I can't wear jewelry. We just talked about that briefly. It drives me crazy to have things like that.
Is that
on
because
me.
you're a cat?
Partially because I'm a cat, probably the fur.
Really? Okay.
And then, but yeah, I mean, things like that, and you just weird, kind of things that aren't what everybody else is. So I don't really like sports at all, and that's one of those things that seems to be similar.
It's like not for everybody on the spectrum, but pretty predominantly. We ain't really into sports. Yeah.
A lot of food aversion, a lot of
sensory issues.
Sensory issues, things that touch you. And then also you mentioned the fact that I'm a cat, right? So I think another thing that is quite common is you have and I'm surprised you guys are throwing yourselves out, but you're younger. So a total aversion to being the center of attention. Even though you want to be, you don't want to be. Right. So
I don't like being in large crowds of people.
Yeah.
That's exactly. Large crowds, lack of control over your environment.
I mean, the fact that we also do improv as another project that we work on, like that, I mean, that's kind of unique for our community.
Yeah.
And so us being center stage of things, not necessarily center stage in such a way because we work with other people, but just being like front and center in front of a crowd, I actually find it far more freeing and less anxiety ridden when I know people are looking at me on my terms. Right.
Oh, right. Yeah. Because you're trying to do something rather than just being in the environment.
Under my control, because if I get up there and I say something really dumb, I purposely got up there and said something dumb, and now people are reacting to it. And so
it would be more of a problem if we actually had an audience. So.
It would be more of a problem if we had not. Jesus, I love the self-deprecating.
Now we've had shows that were sold out, but we've also had shows where we have like 5 people. So it happens.
Okay. Are you enjoying yourself? That's the important part.
Of course we are.
My sold out, it's like 35 people. So
at most, because we do most of our improv show in a art gallery.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Sometimes we'll play out doing other things, but most of the time we just do that.
Have you done the breaking the priceless piece of art bit? Because Steve Martin did that on Letterman a long time ago, and that was like a big hit. So yeah. I mean, it wasn't priceless. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that reminds me of the Mr. Bean movie when he draws the face on Whistler's mother.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. You need to incorporate that into your act and set something up. I think that's my tip of the day.
There we go.
Absolutely. I mean, we've never had a problem showing our face for anything. I mean, we also do comedy roasts as well for people. And
okay.
It's because we're both so beautiful that we're okay with people looking at us.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I mean,
I think there's a difference in the age, though. I think that is something that's come with the age of the internet. So I was young without the internet. So
back in my day.
That's right.
So
I make fun of him all the time.
Got it all. You had 24-hour news, for Christ's sake. And
I mean, I've always been kind of a performer. Like when I was a kid, I danced ballet professionally with Hartford Ballet Company.
Looking at you today, not what I would have thought.
Nope. No, in fact, no one would have ever guessed. And every time I tell people, they're like, huh, really? Dude,
really?
80s ballet? Really? And I'm like,
interesting.
Well, the thing was he actually liked being shoved into lockers. So
okay. So
he did it so that he would get more of that.
Yeah, I just like being made fun of.
It turned him on a little bit. So
so I danced ballet, so obviously I was on a stage a bunch, and it's been kind of a common theme in my life that like not necessarily like actors like to be front and center because they want that approval from other people, but more of just I like to perform, I like to move, I like to do things.
Exactly.
And it might be a generational difference because yes, we did kind of grow up in that. I mean, I'm what, 6 years older than you, if I remember right? Maybe 4? No, 6. Yeah, 6 years older than him. And so there's not a drastic difference between our age, but there seems to be just enough of a difference in our age where we still kind of see some things a little different in that. Because I didn't necessarily grow up internet.
Well, you wear glasses, so you obviously see things different.
Oh, I absolutely do.
What's this new thing they have called Yahoo?
Okay, so honestly, he had to explain to me what TikTok was, and not when it first came out. He only explained TikTok to me like a year and a half ago.
Yeah, TikTok, come on.
I'm literally referred to as the old man of the group, and I'm only 42.
Listen, I keep my grandmother on speed dial in case I need to Instagram.
Ooh,
Jesus.
grandma.
His dad joke game is on point usually. Oh, wow.
Even though
Wow.
I don't have a kid. So.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I've got 4 of them, and yet
Is that cheating
my
if you
dad game-
make dad jokes
my dad-
without being a dad? Is that
No, I
cheating?
think it's called
No.
good prep work for later.
Yeah, I'm preparing.
Good prep work
Yeah.
for later.
So,
It's okay to make dad jokes.
Yeah, it is, as long as they're funny.
have you ever done improv yourself?
I have not. That's something that I mean, other than what I normally do on a weekly basis, I have
Mhm.
not done it for a crowd. But I keep saying I'm going to, and I never have kind of done it yet. But eventually, I'll get around to it. I'm also very lazy. Have I mentioned that?
Not yet, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
lazy.
we can agree. Yeah, we can.
I
agree.
like to make a lot of things and be lazy about them. So yeah.
I mean, I will say that's one of the things that, like, generally NTs or neurotypicals have tendency to call folks on the spectrum a lot is lazy because they don't necessarily know how we do things and look at things from our perspective in that way. So we have tendency to be called that often. I mean, I know I have, but like a lot of times where even I kind of degraded myself and demeaned myself and said I was just being lazy, it was more a matter of I was dealing with, meltdowns or a little bit of burnout from, being oversensed and stuff. And now that now that I know I'm autistic, I can look back on my life and see a bunch of those moments where it was like, I wasn't being lazy. I was actually taking care of myself. You know what I mean? So I can give myself a little bit more credit in that way.
Yeah, no, and
I got all
I
serious.
say
My bad.
just like you, I say I'm lazy, but I actually do a lot of things that probably beyond the normal range of what the normies would be doing. They wouldn't be doing a show for 24 freaking years if they
Right. Like you've got to do prep work for that. It's not like you just turn on the mic one day and you're just like, well, I'm going to keep doing it every week. Because even doing a weekly show, there's a lot of work involved in that.
Right. Yeah, there is stuff to do. Exactly. Now, as far as the show itself goes, we don't actually we don't talk to each other about what we're going to say. Everything is off the cuff, and
Nice.
and we joke about that it's scripted, but it's never scripted, especially if you say something that is kind of out there. You go, oh, that was in the script just to be a joke, but there's no script. There's nothing going on. And we don't actually even tell each other what we're going to talk about ahead of time.
That's kind of cool.
So,
I mean, we have to. We actually have to tell each other what we want to talk about ahead of time.
I do throw him curveballs, though.
Yeah, he does.
That's what's fun. Yeah, curveballs are fun.
I pull stuff out of my ass real quick.
He does. Especially like if I get too serious on the show, he'll immediately just throw in a dad joke or just throw in a joke to break it up. Because I'll get real fixated and stuck into a certain topic and really just get super serious with it. And so he breaks that up for me.
I say 90% of the jokes I make up are my jokes.
That's true.
I don't usually tell other jokes.
Yeah. Yeah. He likes to be one of those like artisan, hippity dippity hoppity people who like wants everything artisanal and shit. Artisan. I meant to say artisan, not artisanal. Artisanal as well. I meant to say artisan.
Yeah, there you go.
Back in
Small
my day,
batch people.
we made coffee with a percolator, and it tasted like asshole. We liked it. I liked my coffee burnt.
I used the dirty underwear for a filter.
Right. I mean, come on. It's clean. It'll be sanitized. It's hot water.
Yeah. I'm accomplishing 2 things: coffee and laundry.
Yeah, that's right. See, dual
You kids with
purpose
your
right there.
space age freeze dried coffee.
There you go. Freeze dried coffee.
Sanka.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah, I like to
grabbed
make
our
fun of.
mugs. We didn't grab our mugs
It's
today.
I'm used
You
to
guys
calling
just
him
got
out.
in from someplace there. I can't
Yeah,
read the name on it, but
we went to a local coffee place, and we use our On the Spectrum mugs.
Oh yeah,
But we
available
didn't-
at your store.
Yes, actually, if you go to our Facebook page, because I'm a shameless promoter of all things, if you go to our Facebook page, you can actually access our merchandise. You can get shirts, you can get whatever you would like with our logo on it. I'm going to stop shamelessly promoting.
Free pay to advertise for us.
Yeah. Yeah, come on. Pay for a mug, show it off to your friends, and have all of them be like, you listen to what?
You do it for Coca-Cola, do it for me too.
But you don't look
Exactly.
autistic.
That's all right. I don't need to
That's
look
right.
like it. I just need you to pay me money. I don't need to look. Oh.
I make fun of him for being an old man because
Yes, you do.
he's going completely out of touch sometimes.
Completely.
Doesn't understand anything technology wise or
Not-
the modern world. I don't get it.
Yep.
I can't hear him. You done something.
Yeah.
That was the whole 5 minutes ahead of this.
Yeah.
He's
Yes, it was.
basically he's in his 40s and he acts like he's in his 60s or 70s.
Well, I dress like it
I
too.
would.
Look, Hawaiian shirts. Huh?
Yeah,
I
so it
dress
looks
like it too.
nice. Like a
Oh,
nice
thank
shirt
you.
to me.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly should have retired like 4 years ago and moved to Florida. I dress like it and I act like it. You know, I should
just
have
wait.
dinner at 4 in the afternoon.
I remember when women were property.
Oh,
That's a joke.
That's terrible. What a terrible thing to say. Why am I laughing at this? Well,
don't worry,
cats-
don't worry. That's like
Cats are
middle ground for us.
property in a way. So
Yeah, that's middle ground for jokes we tell.
Mm.
I mean, but I will say there's a difference, and actually, with as much experience as you have doing a podcast and kind of having a public show, there's a difference between the way we talk publicly and the way we talk on our shows, right?
Oh yeah, I'm an overly polite, quiet person
In public.
in public. Yes.
Okay, so what are you privately?
Oh, well, you can if you listen to the show, I'm a terrible, pushy, bully asshole.
Oh, excellent. So
Sometimes, I mean, I'm being a little more polite with you guys, but a lot of times, yeah, I'll just say mean things and.
I will say, if you're going to be yourself, here is the place to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Well,
'cause
watch
you're more
out.
than welcome. You're more than welcome to say anything you would like in any way you would like. And if it's funny enough, we'll clip it
Yeah.
out and we'll put it on social media. If it's funny
that's
enough.
fine. It's funny. Yeah. I'm kind of gauging everything right now. So I don't go into it full on all the time. So yeah, I just want to make sure I don't want to make, the funny thing is, typically I probably say a lot of things that make people upset on the show, but in real life, no, I don't do that. And I it's not that I want to make people upset. It's just whatever enters in that environment, whatever enters my head comes out of my mouth. And in public, you can't do that. And so I am somewhere in between right now. So
Is that where I've been going wrong all these years, Steve?
The only thing I saw was
Because I
on his
don't hold
website.
back.
The only thing I saw was on his website. He did say on one of his posts that O.J. Simpson was innocent, but
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
what was that?
excellent, excellent. I mean, support the juice. Absolutely. I guess.
I mean, technically he was. He was.
That's
I mean,
that's true. He was
because
found
the law
innocent.
said that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he was
Right.
found innocent.
not guilty does not mean innocent.
Okay.
What?
So let's move on. Andrew Tate? No.
So, what are there any other reasons why you
Really?
think that you may be on the
Oh.
spectrum?
Oh, we're back to that.
Yeah,
I don't like
apparently
to
we're
be
going back
touched. I can't stand being touched.
Uh-huh.
Anybody touches me, I can't stand it. I feel like they're my skin's on fire.
You know,
Is that
most
something?
cats don't like to be touched.
Wow. So I will say I can relate a great deal. I always describe rain as being 1,000 fingers touching me, and it's
Yeah.
so
Isn't that
uncomfortable.
weird?
You know, some people might
Yeah.
be into that though.
Not
Oh.
anywhere close to me, and apparently not Bob. So
Yeah,
y'all
yeah,
can
I
keep
don't
your fingers
can't be
away.
hugged. Don't like to be hugged.
Yeah,
You
I
can
mean,
just
the
imagine the
interesting-
smells in this room.
that's horrible.
He doesn't like water on his skin, so
I don't.
Yeah. Well,
Hey, it's not that I don't take showers or clean
These are the
myself.
dark
I just don't
ages,
like
you know.
to. I mean, honestly,
The,
if this was 1734, I would probably be doing okay. I only have to bathe
Yeah.
once a month.
that and you
You
believe
just-
in owning people.
Oh
Just
God!
scrape your skin with a stick and you'll be fine.
Exactly. Just rub it off with a stick. I can't believe you said
Um,
that.
It's
I
a
can't,
joke.
I
I
can't
know it's
stand
a
to get
joke.
my hair cut. You guys like to get your hair cut? I can't
Nope.
stand that.
All right,
Nope.
Bob. He does not believe in owning people. Okay, that was a joke.
Yeah. Oh no, I assumed that
Yeah.
was true, unless he owned you for some reason, which I didn't realize. But,
Only until Thursday. We have a contract.
Yeah, that's I keep him on the old school version of
The
it.
old-
7 years.
It's called indentured servitude.
Yeah,
it's a
you
little
only
This
different.
is like
7
a
years.
Hollywood, old Hollywood contract system where
That's
you
right.
own them. So.
Yeah. that's
Today
right.
you're doing this show. God damn it! I don't care what you say.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I like to treat him like Betty Davis, just as a
Yeah,
showpiece to put on the
there you
cover.
go.
Yep.
Betty Davis.
Yeah.
You're my Betty Davis.
That's right. That's
See, he
right.
has old man references.
I do.
You know who's a racket? That Lucille Ball.
Well, that's an interesting thing about you say that, but it's interesting because I know a lot of people and they don't know these people because they said they're there before their time, but I know so many people before my time.
Yeah.
And I think that's normal. And a lot of people don't, like you just said. And I don't know if that has anything to do with the spectrum part of it, but it seems that I always just think people don't pay attention.
How many young kids like
to
the
that.
Beatles?
That's
There's a lot of young people who like the Beatles. The Beatles have been popular since they came out.
well, but that's just
Well,
it,
they
though.
also have a big marketing thing
Right.
going on still, and they're always in the news here and there, and
Right.
we have the fake Paul McCartney to thank for that. But anyhow,
Yeah,
right.
that's true.
Like there's a lot of reasons why the Beatles maintain their level of popularity, and only some of it has to do with they put out music people like.
right,
Like
yeah.
it's not even completely because of that. I mean, honestly, like you can find a Beatles song in
Hey, it was
so
just
many
an
movies.
example.
Oh, I
but
know.
I'm just saying that there's a lot of older things people like.
I always think about that kind of stuff, though.
Bob Hope. That's right.
There's nothing wrong with Bob Hope. There's nothing wrong
Hey,
with
it's old Skino. It's Bob Hope here.
I mean, with what you said about it could be something on the spectrum. I mean, it very well could be. It depends on the special interest a person has, because
Right,
we have
exactly.
tendency to absorb that information a little bit easier, supposedly, than other folks.
Supposedly.
Well,
I
I'm gonna
always
say
say
supposedly,
it's a superpower. I tell you, people
be.
who don't have it or don't have the same experience are
Right.
losing out. I tell you,
I always thought
be.
it was normal. Like growing up,
Yeah,
so
exactly,
I've talked on the
exactly.
show before about how when I was in school, I would go through something once in class, read it, or listen to the lesson, and then I would just remember it.
Yeah, me too.
And I thought that it was weird that other people needed to go over things a bunch of times or study. And like, I read through the thing. They're like, yeah, well, you didn't read it. Well, they'd ask me a question. I'm like, yeah, it's this. And they're like, oh. And they'd be surprised I remember it. I'm like, well, because you told me once, I don't need to hear it 15 times. Or I read it once, I don't need to read it 15 times.
Right.
I got it.
The only
Got
time,
it.
the only time I ever
You're
had
lucky.
issue with that was once I got to college and you had much tighter, smaller time frames to memorize stuff. and you also ended up the workload wise was so much larger. That's the only time that kind of thing I had to actually like reread shit.
Yeah, Nick struggles with large loads.
I really do. I really do.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yep. Yeah. You give me any more than 5 inches and I can't handle it.
Well, I'm trying to think of a comeback to that.
Yeah,
but
there's
just
lay
saying
out one.
that is a
Yeah.
comeback enough.
Yeah. 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 I mean, I've never been a big fan of that either, though.
Innuendo. You guys are into innuendo.
Oh,
here.
very much so.
And you don't even have one in the room.
Nope. Yeah.
Just that I can see. This is
right.
covered up with soundproofing.
I mean, we actually recently just put that up, which is awesome. We're making it look
Yeah.
pseudo like a studio.
Yeah, you're like, hey, you look like you're doing a real radio show with all this here.
I know, right? Bravo, Steve.
The smooth sounds
Oh,
of my
Jesus.
butthole. Only on 101.2.
101.2.
The end.
Of all
Apparently,
numbers.
you just got a
Yeah.
wax.
Yeah, apparently. Wow.
So smooth.
nice.
I
Okay,
just drank a
sorry.
pint
You
of
guys doing Larry
Pepto-Bismol.
King.
I need more coffee.
Albuquerque, New Mexico. What do you got to say to my butthole?
I'm sorry. The voice you threw on that was great. Like the words and the voice together were just
I just
great on
drank
that.
There
a
you
pint of
go.
X-Lax.
Yeah, you did.
See, you knew Larry King reference. That's an old reference as well. Because I mean, he actually came into this time period, but he was pretty darn old. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, by the time
He's my favorite half
Yeah.
human, half owl.
That's right. That's right.
uh,
So he's only had like 10 heart attacks, but he makes it. It's amazing.
really not. Is his show still on? Like,
No, I don't think he's doing
mean-
it anymore. I think he pretty much just
He'll-
a ball.
yeah, he
somewhere.
only quit recently too, which was
Yeah.
weird.
I'm on my 5th wife.
Yeah, and he
Keeps
said
me
that in
on.
1982. Wow. Yeah, I mean, he'd been doing that show for what 40 years or some
Yeah,
shit.
Larry King live. He was doing it online as well after he got
Wow.
canceled. So yeah.
Oh, he got canceled.
Yeah, he got of course he got canceled. My gosh.
Oh, I mean, everybody does.
He was just talking gibberish at the end. Who knows what he's doing?
Yeah, so maybe he qualifies to be president. President President-elect King, what are you going to do in your first 90 days?
First 90 days, I'm going to change my diaper.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh, I could, believe it or not, I could see him saying that.
We could crane off in all directions here. If you want, so.
Absolute.
I just hope if anybody who listens to our show is like a huge Joe Biden fan, I mean, I just upset them.
Yeah, but I don't like to get into politics too much because that seems to make people even really angry. But
I can make fun of Joe Biden. I make fun of every president.
That's true. He does.
Equally, yeah. I don't see why they want to. I mean, there's no good choices. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I think there never really was. I think people were just much better at like packaging themselves at one point. Nowadays, it's like,
have you heard of the game? Excuse my language, but fuck, marry, kill.
Yeah, of course. I think everybody's heard of that.
We should do that with the presidential candidates.
Well, the problem is every time you say kill, then you get a knock on the door.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. Well, no, not until they're voted in. If they're just running,
Like, it's only if it's a Clinton.
Yeah.
Well, only if it's a Clinton. I think it goes further back than that. Yeah.
Yeah, much.
That was a joke too.
Wow.
I'm gonna get in trouble.
No. I mean, you painted both sides pretty well. You know,
I haven't made any Republican jokes yet.
you did too. You made fun of Trump.
Yeah, you made fun of Trump
that's true.
earlier in the show. You're like,
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is one
news.
more. There you go with fake news. Yeah. All you got to do is make fun of one more Republican, and then you're going to be even.
Yeah, actually,
You're
we were
coming after me,
when
I'm
we were
coming
driving
after
on the way
you.
here. We were talking about like if we were going to have any guests on the show, we would never have Trump on,
Yes.
and he would never do our show anyway. But like,
oh, you never know.
I was doing an impression of what he would be like if he came on the show. Like, I love autism. Autism's awesome. Some of the greatest people I know are autistic.
Baron,
I love
he's
what they're doing.
Yeah. he would probably try to make us feel good about it.
Listen, you look at what
Right.
these autistic people are doing. They're just doing amazing things.
Yeah.
Crazy
Like,
work.
I don't know why you just made me regret being autistic all of a sudden, but you did. Thank you, former president guy.
Listen, you want a job? I'll give you a job. I'll give you a job. You're great autistic.
You remember things. You'll be my walking Rolodex. There
Yep.
you go.
We'll go to the casino. We'll do Rain Man. It'd be great.
Oh,
That's right. Hey, I met Rain Man, by the way.
You met
Oh, yeah?
Dustin Hoffman?
Oh, the real
No,
Rain Man.
I met the real Rain
Oh,
Man.
the real guy. Oh, okay.
His name was Kim Peek.
Oh, did Dustin Hoffman do a good job at representing who that person was?
No.
Oh,
No.
Oh, he was playing a fictional version of him?
Yeah,
That's
he was nothing like he was an amalgam. Kim Peek was one of the main people, but he was an amalgam. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
that's kind of a controversial thing in our circle.
Yeah.
The community is like non-autistic people playing autistic characters.
Mhm.
A lot of people don't think that regular folk,
Normal. people.
regular
Well, but-
folk in air
Yeah,
quotes, should-
normies,
yeah.
NTs.
I'll be devil's advocate for this.
Sure.
If they're actors, can't they do anything? That's the whole point of acting, isn't it?
So yes, and I'll say it this way, not necessarily completely for our community, but just for the entire topic of representation. In that premise, then we would literally be able to have men and women both play opposite sides.
Yes.
And is that a proper representation? And not just proper representation, but is that person going to be able to truly connect with the emotion that they're supposed to convey?
Like it's
Because,
casting Nick as Martin Luther King Jr.
Right.
Probably
I don't
a
think
bad
that'd
idea.
be a great idea. But not just because
you may find an actor who could do it, and they don't
Maybe.
necessarily have to be
maybe.
African American.
It'll be
Maybe. But at the same time, though, is the person, because a job of an actor is also to be able to not just be close to who that human being is, but also to be able to convey and connect with the emotional state in that scene.
Well, also if the
Well,
people
You know,
watching
if
it.
you've never been through a certain moment, how can you connect with
Well,
that moment?
I would also say the consumer, the person watching it.
Yeah.
So if you're a Black American
Yes.
and you watch a white guy playing
Mhm.
Martin Luther King Jr., it may be hard for you as a Black person to
Right. They might
identify
they
with
might
that
not go over
character.
very well.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you're also leaving out a couple of very important parts of
Uh-huh.
of the process, which is editing
Mm.
and the director and so forth. So, to be honest, the actor almost doesn't have to do much. In fact, sometimes if you've ever met like, let's say, I don't know if you've ever met like your heroes as an actor and you find out they're really terrible, boring vapid people.
I've heard Edward
And
Norton
yet-
is a douchebag, even though I've always thought he was a good actor.
Well,
Yeah.
all of my favorite actors are far too old, dead, or now they have neurological issues. So I'm screwed on meeting all of them.
Well,
He
Bob
was
Hope
he
being
was
an
a big fan of
example.
Army
Yeah.
Hammer.
Oh God, really?
Oh my
What
goodness!
is wrong with you?
I'm kidding. So we
yeah.
should go back to the days of like Breakfast at Tiffany and Mickey Rooney. That's what you're saying?
No.
I'm
What I'm
kidding.
saying is,
You mean where he
what I'm
played the
saying
Asian dude,
yes,
the Chinese guy?
necessarily-
It was a
Early-
joke. It was a joke.
but I'm saying is that as an actor,
Mhm.
so I understand wanting to be represented, and again, I'm a little bit more in the middle of this. I'm being a little bit of a devil's advocate on
course.
this subject, but the nature of acting is that you can do things beyond the scope of what you are, and so by that very nature, you don't have to be exactly this or exactly that. An example, kind of a famous example, would be in Forrest Gump. Lieutenant Dan had legs.
Yes.
Gary
Yes.
Sinise could walk around, but they made him not have legs. So,
Mhm.
do you have to have had your legs blown off in Vietnam in order to play a guy with his legs blown off in Vietnam? No. But
Right.
I think there
Okay,
are
I'll give you
limits,
a
but
more
yeah.
ridiculous example.
okay.
The one I can't remember the name of the movie right now. It's the one that I was telling you about with Gary Oldman and
Uh-huh.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Where they're a family of little people.
Oh,
I
Peter
watched that
Dinklage.
movie. It was wild. Yeah.
And
Peter Dinklage
was it
is in
Tiptoe?
that.
Is that what it's called?
Oh.
Tiptoes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tiptoe.
and Gary Oldman plays a little person, which looked
Yeah.
ridiculous, by the way, because his arms are like normal size.
Right. It's not,
And then he's supposed to have these
everything
little
else
legs.
is not
Because
as
normally,
proportioned,
if you're a dwarf, you're proportionate. Like your arms would be
Right,
shorter.
yeah.
and stuff. But he has like normal size arms and then little legs. It just looks ridiculous.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they didn't do a very good
And
job
it looks
of
like
making
he's
out
walking on his knees the whole time.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on his knees.
So
Yeah.
I will say the other side of representation that I do agree with quite a lot, because I agree with you about being an actor. Like an actor should, if they're good at what they do and they study well, they should be able to have a wide range of things to be able to do. But the other
Sure.
side of representation is also being able to see yourself in a character from an audience perspective and be able to see that you're capable of something. Like
But
my
that's
best
a good
friend,
actor. That's a good
Well,
actor. Then.
but
Yeah.
my best friend is Jamaican American, and me and him have had this conversation quite a bit. And one of the things he said to me that when growing up, okay, as an African American young man, not being able to see a lot of representation of
Right.
himself as successful actually set him up to believe that it might not be possible. And I was
Right.
like, but it's possible. And he goes, I can intellectually tell you that, but I never saw it. And so it was very hard to convince myself that I could do anything other than the stereotype that I grew up with. And he's roughly my age. So like we're talking about,
Is he on
80s
the
and early
spectrum as
90s.
well? Or?
No.
Okay. That's
Or
part
you
of
think
his problem.
autistic
I don't know.
people
If he
can
was
only
on the
be
spectrum,
friends?
he wouldn't think about any of that. He just do whatever he thought he could do.
Relatively. I mean, even in our community right now, there's a lot of people who are asking for representation, a more adequate or accurate representation of autistic people in media. And I get it from the standpoint that Ian explained it to me, because I never really thought about it from that way, that there's been a wide range of people that I could visibly identify with. Granted, when I found out I was bipolar and when I found out I was autistic, immediately most of the white males I had seen in starring roles, I was like, oh, they don't represent me anymore. Because
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't murdered 3 people in cold blood.
That's
yet.
true.
So-
That's true.
So far,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's always hope for the future.
I know, right? I mean, I've always been aiming to be famous by killing a busload of nuns, but that was my thing.
Well,
That was going to be my call to fame.
If you're going to do that, do priests, so then that way at least you'll be a hero in someone's eyes.
That is a true statement. Yeah, I should probably leave the nuns alone. They didn't touch any boys.
Chances are very unlikely that they did. you know.
Right. But they were
Statistically
complicit.
speaking, women aren't
think-
molesters typically.
Nick
Not
wants
typically.
to wants to do like a Martha Stewart Living type show, but had kind of more
Oh,
like
really?
a Dahmer twist to it.
Uh-huh.
There you go. How to cook
Yeah.
a foot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Today-
Cooking with thighs. Yeah. From a runner. Okay.
The best cut, if you ask me, is the brisket.
I'm partial to the love handle myself.
Too fatty. Too fatty. You're gonna get at least get somewhere
You
where
got to
there's
trim off a
muscle.
little bit of the fat.
Right.
Right.
Roast it slow, low and slow.
Keep some of it for the flavor. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
He does like the liver though.
With a
Yeah.
nice Chianti.
Well, Anthony Hopkins has recently come out as being autistic, so I guess I can identify with that character.
Clarice, tell me. Do you hear the lambs bleating, Clarice?
All right. Did anybody else watch him initially start talking as that character and like, I get you did bad things, but you seem like a nice guy?
I mean, I would think you would identify more with Buffalo Bill.
Because I'm a big fan of lotion?
No,
Or
I've seen that
pits?
lampshade in your house. I know what it's made out of.
Foreskin?
Oh. Well, yes, because I was a moil in a past life.
Nick likes to do bris
I can't
the
let these
old-fashioned way.
things go to waste.
That's right.
I got to make something out of them.
You know, use all the
What's
viable
this book
parts.
from the Nazis? 101 uses for human skin?
Right?
Fantastic.
Steve, how did you let somebody else make a Nazi joke before you? How did you do that?
I did not see that coming.
Oh, that's
Joseph Mengele is the author. I wonder who he was.
Yep, exactly. That's funny. It was funny, Steve. All right, Steve's just probably a little bit upset, maybe a little bit annoyed because he's usually the one that likes to make Nazi jokes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to encroach on anybody's
No,
territory.
it's fine.
No,
Did you ever?
no.
I hate those fucking Nazis, man. Hate
See,
them.
there you go. I think all three of us can agree, at least publicly in front of a camera, we can all agree.
Yeah.
Bad people.
Nazis are bad. Yes.
Bad.
Nazis are bad. I'm good. Nazis are bad.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
The most perfect villain for any movie, the Nazi.
Nazis?
Or a British person.
Really?
Well, it depends on what time period the movie
You know,
set in.
like Star Wars, all the people on the Death Star were British.
Oh, that's true.
The Star
wow.
Destroyers. Have you ever noticed like movies, they have British villains?
Yeah, but do you know what the funny thing was? There were British people portraying Nazis.
Yes.
Basically, they were, yeah. I mean, the Empire is basically Nazis in Star Wars.
Nazis.
Yeah.
They literally have stormtroopers.
They're
Yes.
stormtroopers.
Yeah.
Exactly. And most of those people probably lived through the war, and so they knew what they were talking about. Lived experience. We'll tie it back to our conversation here.
That's right. Lived experience.
And they were genociding the Jedis.
Well,
What? They were.
What?
No.
Order 66.
Yeah. Yeah, they got rid of the Jedi. Yeah, Order
Yeah.
66.
It's Jedi. That's how you pronounce it.
The jetty.
Opposed to Jedi.
Yes.
The jetty
Okay.
is also, is this some kind of aqua reference, water reference? The jetty.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Really, Jedi?
Why not?
You're gonna F with the pronunciation of Jedi?
Mhm.
You're gonna ruin every nerd's dream of being a Jedi?
You know what I just pictured in my head? Because
What?
we're talking about Nazis and Jewish people and Jedis.
Oh, I can only imagine what
I was
you
just
were
picturing
envisioning.
in my head this like Jedi pulling out a menorah and then like several
Oh
lightsabers
my
pop
God.
out where the candles go.
I'm surprised that wasn't in Spaceballs, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
That's
right?
totally a Spaceballs thing. Yeah.
Right, that's a Mel Brooks joke right there.
Yeah, totally. You have to write him a
Oh my
note before he
God.
passes
Just have
away.
a menorah with
Right.
7 lightsabers.
Yeah. So, question for you, Bob. Did you happen to watch History of the World Part 2? They put it out on
I
Hulu.
haven't watched it yet. I watched the first one,
Of course.
but I've never seen the second one yet. I saw it was out there. I think it's on Hulu or
Yeah,
something, but
yeah,
I
it
have
is.
not had a chance to.
Yeah,
Well,
I haven't,
I've had many chances to watch it. I haven't yet. I'll
Yeah.
put it that way.
I haven't watched it yet, but one of the guys who stars in it, who helped, who co-wrote, I guess, with Mel Brooks, he actually said, unfortunately, at this age, Mel Brooks did not want to do Jews in Space like he promised us in the first one.
Yeah.
Have
Why not?
you ever seen Part 1?
A long time ago. I don't
Okay.
remember it very
So
well.
at the very end of it,
What a show.
yeah, like at the very end, it talked about Jews in Space for the next one.
I saw it once when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
and I just don't remember.
So the guy, and I completely forgot his name. He's been in a bunch of stuff, but I forget his name. But the actor was talking about how Mel Brooks didn't want to do that, and that actually was one of the proposals for the show. For Part 2 was to actually have that, like bring all of the things that he kind of said he was going to in that
Mhm.
end portion, actually do that, right? But I guess years later, it's been what, almost 40 years or so since History of the World Part 1 came out.
Oh,
And,
at least.
Yeah.
At least,
And so Mel Brooks decided.
81, I think it was. 81.
Oh, 81. Yeah.
Back
so
in
it
my day,
was 4
comedies were
years.
funny.
Yeah, so he decided he didn't want to do that because obviously times have changed. It's been 40 years. And so he wanted to make something that was still in the same vein or style of comedy, obviously, but he wanted to also incorporate the growth that he's had, I guess, or the modern change in society or something.
Growth? You mean
is
cancer?
Overrated, yeah.
I
Very
mean, this is
overrated.
also a guy who in the 70s did Blazing Saddles.
Right,
like-
exactly.
Come on. He used to be like cutting edge and like the guy to push boundaries and asked for no apology. And now he's like, man, let's play it safe. I'm almost dead.
Well,
Let's play
that's
it
what
safe.
happens when you get a lot of money. You know,
That's
you gotta play
true.
it safe.
Well, you got to worry about losing all of it.
That's right.
Seinfeld tells tame jokes.
But he almost always
What's
has.
up with those airline peanuts? I don't know. I've got a peanut allergy, and they keep throwing them out at everybody.
I mean, honest to God.
There's a bad Seinfeld joke there.
Yeah, well, I think he's a funny guy, but I mean, I can't get through a single special of his. I love watching
Now,
Seinfeld, the TV show.
I'll tell you, I think it was Bobcat Goldthwait, because
Yeah.
they don't like each other apparently in public, said that Jerry Seinfeld is, his luck was meeting Larry David. And that's the only reason he's famous and everything is because he paired up with Larry David. So
I think
and
Larry
if you
David's
watch Curb Your
hilarious.
Enthusiasm, I would agree.
Yeah, I agree.
But-
Absolutely.
Larry David is hilarious.
I mean,
Yeah.
honest to God, where would Jerry Seinfeld still be? He would still be a stand-up comic, not the most famous stand-up comic, because even when he got that show, he wasn't like top-tier comic at the time. So where would he be? Do
you remember when,
a career that failed?
Larry David went on SNL and did Bernie Sanders.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
yeah,
He played Bernie Sanders. Oh, it was so funny.
it was super great.
Yeah.
And then the two of them met
I
each
don't know.
other.
Maybe that's true. Well, I think Seinfeld was the palatable Jewish person, opposed to Larry David, who looks very Jewish compared to Jerry Seinfeld.
Absolutely. I mean, Larry David essentially is a walking stereotype,
Right.
right? But at the
Yeah.
same time, would Larry David be as famous
See,
as he is now if
that
it wasn't for Jerry
character
Seinfeld?
In
Because-
Curb Your
Yes.
Enthusiasm, the character in
Yeah.
Curb Your Enthusiasm is very much like Nick. That's how you are in real life.
Seriously? I've watched a couple of episodes.
Just
That's
like
really
the
me.
most inappropriate
Does
things,
he go pretty
Making-
pretty good?
horrible mistakes.
Huh.
Yep.
Is that why I didn't laugh when I watched a couple
You're
episodes?
like, I don't
was
get
just
it.
like, oh my God, it's my life.
Like this poor guy, he's so persecuted, just like me. I'm totally identifying with him.
I know, right? So, Bob, you said you think Larry David would have been famous anyway without
I
Jerry?
think. Well, the problem was, and if you read anything about him, he was very kind of harsh,
Mhm.
and so maybe not, because maybe Seinfeld was the guy that smoothed the path, and David was the person to bring the funny stuff. So it takes two. So if one of you guys needs to smooth the path, if the other one is going to be overly harsh. So well, he's not doing a very good job with these Nazi jokes.
Well, we all have mountains to climb and overcome. We all do.
It's just like if you think of all the duos, right? So
Yeah.
Jobs and Wozniak. So Wozniak obviously was the brains of that, and everybody accolades for Jobs, but Jobs really he's not a genius. He's just a guy who can sell things.
He's a mouthpiece.
He's a good
Yeah,
promoter.
he's definitely a mouthpiece. And Martin and Lewis, if you think back into your time there, what you like, Dean Martin made Jerry Lewis palatable, and whenever Dean Martin was away, then Jerry Lewis became too much.
Right.
Most people, I mean, there are some successes, but not as many as there was with the both of them. So,
Right.
that's what you got. Abbott and Costello. I
Mhm.
mean, it goes on and on. You got to have this Laurel and Hardy,
Mike and Ike.
Right.
Mike and Ike. Yeah.
I mean, where would they be without it?
That's right.
One would be
Yeah.
colorful and the other one would have sugar.
Without Marge, Homer would not be palatable. So
That-
there you go.
I mean, absolutely. I would actually say that should maybe be used as an allegory for all of life, that we all need somebody to kind of counterbalance us, or
Yeah.
all different parts of society need to have a counterbalance.
You know what the funny thing is, though, when it comes to acting or performing,
Mhm.
I think more often than not, you play the straight man more than I do.
Yes.
At least
yes.
if we're together.
Oh, no, absolutely. Well, because that's kind of your time to be energetic and shine and be goofy. And then I am in real life. And so
Plus, he's married and you're not.
That's true. I am.
He's got to
married
play
or
the
not.
straight man at this point.
Yeah,
That's right.
I've got to pretend.
matter what he
Everybody's
tells
still
himself.
questioning what you are, so
Yeah, that's
he's already
true.
picked a path.
I mean, shit, man. In the 7 years I've known you, you've gone through like several women. I'm
compensate.
just saying, you're really doing a good job of playing pretend.
Is that the latest lady right there?
Apparently, this
Okay.
is the latest lady.
Oh, okay.
Although her boobs jiggle as much as
So,
most of my exes.
before
I'm just saying.
I want a woman that can fit in my pocket. I can take around with.
So
me.
That's
before
right.
if any women are listening to this and they get upset about this, my girlfriend bought me this.
Yes, she did.
Oh,
Actually,
well.
it was the girlfriend. Who
I don't know
bought
why.
him that.
She bought me a little girl with jiggly boobs.
Right.
So-
Oh, well,
I mean, they're set up on a
Probably to-
spring.
keep you away for a while.
It's probably that's probably true. It's probably true.
I would not buy something like that for myself because I'm not.
You're not fascinated with anime boobs?
No, I find it like kind of when people buy. It's
There's
kind of
a
like
poster back
they
there. I
have
don't
those
know.
pens where like you turn it upside down and the girl's
Mhm.
naked.
Yeah.
I find stuff
Yeah.
like that to be very kind of like tacky.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Gross.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
gross.
Tacky. I agree. And you're right. He does have a bunch of anime figures behind him as well.
Oh, I don't know I didn't know where we were at. I didn't know if it was your place or his.
Oh
place
no,
or-
we're at his.
Okay, well there you go.
this
Yeah,
is my
my-
Maybe
office.
you do.
I turned-
I think
Man, I got
deep
kids.
down you wanted anime. Only the top part of an anime with big boobs.
That's right.
That's only the top.
I turned my
just
office
to make sure they
into
can't run away
a
from him.
studio. I do have Picard too on the wall though. I got
That's
some.
true.
Oh, okay, well,
Patrick
that's
Stewart.
okay. His
You can't
head looks
see it.
like a
Nobody
big
can see
boob,
that
so
now.
it's okay.
Yeah. No, like we could probably never do this at my place. I have kids. And they get loud.
they're always in the way.
I mean, not only am I on the spectrum, but I have 2 children that are on the spectrum as well.
They're only good when they get old enough to do things, so you don't have to do them anymore.
That would be for one of my children.
That was a
the other one will
conversation
always
killer.
need me.
What a
Yeah,
conversation
one of my children. So if we're talking autism language, me and Steve are level 1, and one of
Oh,
my
we're
children
up.
is a level 2, which means she has a little bit higher of support needs than me and Steve would have.
Mhm.
And so in that regard, she'll always be living with me and her mom. Always.
Yeah.
And like my oldest son, because I've actually got 4 kids. I'm on my second marriage, 2 with my first, and now
Wow.
my
Great
current
ones to go
partner
on.
had 2 children, so I just consider all 4 of them mine. But my oldest son is also on the spectrum, and he is a level 1. So like with him, there's a lot more independence in that way. And then we also have 2 children who are NTs to the best of our knowledge so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
And my
haven't
father
quite
told me
tested
at
them
some
yet.
point I might have to take care of my brother
Right,
because
Yeah.
because his brother has another type of
Yeah.
difficulty. I don't want to say disability. I'm trying to stray
disability
away
is
from that.
a terrible word. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to stray
I
away
think
from
it's
it.
a different ability, to be honest with you.
It could be. I mean, I think words like disability should be up to that person to identify themselves as.
Mhm.
Same thing with like, because when I was diagnosed, it was still Asperger's syndrome, not level
Mhm.
1, not high function, not any of that stuff. And I had no problem using that terminology, but I agree now because some people don't like that term. I think it's up to the individual to identify in such a way, almost like
Mhm.
identify like pronouns, but I think it's up to us to identify that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Everybody
You know?
keeps saying Asperger's, like ass.
That's true.
Something
He actually used to say Asperger's.
like Asperger's.
Yeah. Like,
I'm gonna make some later. Actually, I got a nice piece of rump in the fridge.
yep, there you go. There you
Gonna
go.
make
He's
some
gonna
Asperger's.
Asperger's. Great. Jesus.
By the way, Asperger was a Nazi.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that back.
Yeah, we
I'm
got.
really glad you're doing some callbacks here.
Well, they all got brought over, so
Well, yeah.
Werner von Braun, Nazi.
Yep.
That's right. Operation
A lot of them.
Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip, exactly.
NASA was founded by Nazis.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
That part I
bunch of
knew.
Nazis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we were
probably
like,
why
hey,
Mel Brooks didn't wanna
we'll overlook
use
that
his
whole
face.
Yeah, probably.
we'll overlook that whole Nazi thing if you give us your rocket technology.
That's right. We can forgive and forget for all that you know.
We just need to. We can't let those Russians have the only ones who have the rockets because the Russians took scientists too. So
Yeah, they
So-
let's split them up. It was almost like dodgeball. They're picking people.
So is that why we didn't go after Stalin? Because we didn't have a way to blackmail him into giving us stuff?
Well, he was one of the big shots. He was a captain, so he was picking teams.
Yeah, like Stalin killed way more people.
I think some of their rocket scientists were better than ours because they developed
probably.
working rockets a lot sooner than we did.
that, and they had no problem of doing human testing.
Maybe, and they probably
Poor
had slave
dog.
labor too.
Well, they did. Yeah.
So
It's called all the rest of the people.
anybody who wasn't part of the government.
Yeah, that's
Right.
it. Not part of the government. We're going to put it that way, opposed to any other way. We
Not
could
part
word
of
it.
the Soviet regime, whatever you want to call it.
Oh, I thought we were also talking about Nazi stuff.
No, I was talking about the Soviets. They
Yes.
they beat us into space, and they kept
did.
beating us because their rockets worked better. Ours kept blowing up.
Right.
Even though Werner von Braun was supposedly the creator of the V2 rocket, which we used to get to the moon. But
That's right. I'm really glad we all know history so well. So bringing us back to the present time.
well, just so we know, Bob, we're approaching the hour mark, so I just want to let you know
We don't want to take too
we
much
can
of your time,
continue
my good
to
sir.
record if you want to talk. But
Yeah, I'll talk for a while longer. Sure.
Great.
You don't need to cut that out at all either. I'm being held against my will. Look at my eyebrows.
I just
All
wanted to make sure I was respectful of your time. So
Yeah,
So-
I'll tell you when I gotta go if I have to. So.
Okay. So I do got to ask this. Why a blue cat? I've got to ask that question directly. Why a blue cat?
Because it was available. Because of the software I'm using, it was something that was easily available.
Oh, okay.
that's how I got my last girlfriend.
That is true, actually.
Yeah,
She just happened to be
availability.
available.
That
Yeah.
and the catalog, that's all you need.
The software worked out. So.
Yeah. Yeah. You were literally like, who could I stand to have around me? Oh, yeah, that person who doesn't talk
I
a lot.
swiped left to the end, and then I just said, okay.
Yeah, he's not lucky enough to have found her online. Instead, he found her at a play he was doing.
Oh, really? You're going to play? What
He
was your
was.
part? Is it anything known or?
It's from a show called A Man for All Seasons, which is
Oh,
about
yeah.
Sir
Okay.
Thomas More. I was playing the guy dating Thomas More's daughter, William
Okay.
Roper,
There you
who
go.
was
Was she the daughter?
yeah.
Yeah. And they ended up being
so
real
you
friendly.
you used your acting prowess to
Mhm.
to reel her in. So you were totally believable in the role, and she just bought it.
She
Yeah.
actually described him
She
as
thinks
being
she's
a
still-
very different kind of guy.
She actually
No
still thinks
shit.
that she's playing the role now, so she doesn't know. That she thinks the play's still going on. She's pretending.
Did
to
I
be my
mention
wife.
that I was also a hypnotherapist?
Yeah. She actually told me at one point a while back, but she actually told me at one point that that's actually something that she found appealing about you was because you talk so differently than other guys.
I
And
don't know
was
what
like,
that
yeah,
means.
no shit, he's autistic. And she goes,
That's-
no, I mean, he's so much more intellectual. And I was like, yeah, he's autistic.
Yeah,
She was
it
like,
yeah.
well, but sometimes he can be emotional. I was like, when? When does that happen? Tell me at what point.
I've had a lot to drink.
No.
Yeah, exactly. That's when I'm emotional too, is when I
I
drink enough.
always talk in a monotone. Hello,
You know-
people. How are you today?
Weirdly enough, I think we've both in our lives been described as talking with a monotone, but I don't hear it when he talks, and I'm assuming you don't hear it when I talk. Like I can't hear his voice in monotone, and it's not like an inability to hear it, but like I've never heard him talk in a monotone, but I know we've both been described as from other people that way. Because that was
I would
actually
say I would guess I
Mhm.
would hazard to think that most people who probably are on the spectrum don't recognize, at least at first glance, others who are on the spectrum because they don't. Those things aren't triggered. You know what I'm saying? So they're just it's all normal.
because
So-
to us our behavior is recognized
Yeah,
to
it's
us
all very
as
normal.
part of
Yeah,
the normal.
All very normal.
So I'm more like Hal, and he's like Kit. That's how we talk.
So
I
what, he's
later-
British and you're not British?
I
Or
later
what?
turned into the principal on Boy Meets World.
Sure.
Great, I'll take
That's
that.
right.
What's wrong with Principal Feeney? What the hell?
Yeah.
Actually, I much more like being part of Knight Rider. That's way awesome. Except for I have to have David Hasselhoff in me, and
Michael.
nobody enjoys that,
Michael, please clean your seat. It's filthy.
right?
Quit throwing your cups on the passenger side.
Back in
Stop
my
sitting in
day,
me without pants on.
we had talking cars.
Yeah.
They basically they had to recycle the Cylon. They stuck it in a car.
That's
It was,
exactly right. Oh, I've always thought that about that too.
Mhm.
Did they just steal that from Battlestar
Yeah, the
Galactica?
prop department's like, I don't know. We got this red thing that goes back and forth. Want me to stick it on this car? Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Makes it look like it's futuristic.
Or something.
Yeah.
I really like how they made in 2000 they made Knight Rider 2000, right? And
Mhm.
supposedly it was an update, but there was like nothing actually updated. It didn't look updated. The budget
Just
for that
pulled it
entire
all out of
movie was so
mothballs.
horrible, and they just kept talking about how we've made Kit better, and like
Wait,
nothing changed about it whatsoever.
Have you guys ever seen Kung Fury?
Kung Fury?
Kung Fury? No.
So
No.
Kung Fury, David Hasselhoff does the soundtrack for that. This came out probably like 5 or 6 years ago.
I'm sorry.
It's a really corny action kung fu movie.
What? I would have never guessed that by the name.
It's supposed to look like a 80s movie.
Uh-huh.
So they
Like
have this
one of those
guy.
deep cuts on Netflix or something.
Yes.
You get this guy, and it's like it's purposely over the top and cheesy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they'll flying kick and they fly in the air way too long, or like he'll
Right.
jump off a building and survive and just land
Yeah, of
on the
course.
ground. And
It's
there's this-
Bollywood.
Yeah, that's right. It sounds pretty close to that.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
but yeah, this is it's ridiculous. Actually, he fights Hitler at one point, which is funny.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's set in the 80s, but he fights
he goes
Hitler
back
at
in
some
time
point.
and fights Hitler.
Well, Hitler was living down in Argentina back.
He also
in the
travels to
80s.
dinosaur times too, and meets like a cave woman or something.
What?
It's so stupid
How do you write the two of those into a 90
because
minute
it's
movie?
supposed to be like ridiculous. But anyway,
Because you
David
ran out of
Hasselhoff
ideas
does
to
the-
go time travel.
Yeah.
I gotta show you the song after because the song is ridiculous
You're
too.
gonna have to.
So
You're
he
gonna
did the
have to.
sound.
Yeah.
Like he actually did the soundtrack, or they just took all of his.
No,
songs
he
to
did the
make
song for the
soundtrack?
movie.
Oh my
Oh,
god! He
okay.
like
He made like
wrote it?
he made an 80s sounding corny, like it had lots of synths and stuff. He
Of
did like it
course.
sounded like an 80s song, but it was written a few years ago by David
Oh my
Hasselhoff.
god!
Yeah.
Well, you got to pay for your hamburgers somehow.
You have to.
It reminds
Yeah.
me of Scarface, Push It to the Limit. Kind of like that type of song. But like, you know, in the movie Scarface, they have Push It to the Limit. No. You remember
I've
that?
never fully watched Scarface.
All right. Well, it's got kind of this cheesy 80s vibe, but it's David Hasselhoff singing.
You know why I never fully watched Scarface?
Because you have the attention
Cocaine?
span of a goldfish.
No, because nothing about a gangster selling drugs sounded appealing. To
I
me
think
for a
that movie's racist because he's Italian and he's playing a Mexican.
Oh boy,
Was he
we're
supposed to be
back
Mexican
that.
or Cuban or what is he?
I don't know.
Hispanic.
Cuban, I
He's
think.
supposed to be
I think it's
Cuban, actually. I think he came from Cuba. The
He's supposed to
character,
be-
yeah.
Yeah, I
But
thought
he's
he
supposed
was
to be a
Cuban.
Latino and it's
Right.
an Italian guy.
Yeah.
Well, but we're also talking about the 70s where they couldn't tell the difference between anybody who had a slight tinge of brown in their skin.
True.
Right? Like
True.
Lou Diamond
Yeah.
Phillips ended up getting cast as a Filipino, a Mexican, Native
Yeah.
American, which is what he actually is. He also played a
Mhm.
Cambodian at some point. He also played,
Right.
I think, somebody from Guam. Like, if it was slightly tan, Lou Diamond Phillips probably played it in the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, and that's a
Hey,
real thing.
Linda
Like,
Hunt won an Oscar for playing a guy. Go
Yeah.
figure.
like on a, and I'm not saying nothing that's not true statement from the 80s.
Listen, you
70s and
bigot.
80s. Like, if you did not look super white, they immediately cast you as somebody who was not super
Well,
white.
but the funny thing is that actually historically goes way, 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 way back.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people who were playing Native Americans back
Mhm.
in the westerns and stuff were just people with dark skin. They could have been Jewish, they could have been Italian, they could have
That's
been
right.
whatever. And yeah, they just said, okay, yeah, you're the Indian, and then
Yeah.
there you go. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's just the way it was.
Right.
Yeah, they would have cast actual Native Americans. They just couldn't find any, you know, because we killed them all.
Right.
Because of the genocide. Yeah.
Yeah, because of the genocide that we fucking
Well, Nick's
created.
ancestors
Committed.
personally handed out smallpox blankets. So,
No, mine did.
by the way, that's a myth. You can't actually spread smallpox that way. What?
You just accused my
know.
ancestry of giving like disease to people.
It's a weird thing that's like propagated, but it's
would-
if you look it up, you,
there's
can't actually
there's
spread.
no way you
spread-
can disprove it. To be honest, your ancestors gave disease to somebody at some point.
That's right.
I mean,
They did.
and you did as well because COVID happened. I'm sure you
Not
coughed
just-
on somebody. and
not
that was-
just
Oh
getting-
no, I purposely gave COVID to people.
It's not just
No,
getting
no.
too close
No,
to
no, no.
people. It's also the Swedish meatballs. You were
Yes.
giving. They were giving horse meatballs. To
Yeah, I'm
people.
mostly Swedish. We didn't really do a whole lot. I mean, we did some horrible shit. Don't get me wrong.
He gave out some rogue
Uh,
prions to give
like-
some
a lot
mad
of
cow
naked
disease.
saunas.
Yeah, we didn't contribute to a lot of the horrible shit in the world. I mean, some. Don't get me wrong. We did some
Listen,
of it.
Well, you do know that Norway was basically a Nazi base.
Well, Norway. We're talking about Sweden.
They're all the same.
They're all the same up there.
It's all
The
Scandinavia.
Finns, the
Gotta deal with
Norwegian,
it.
the Swedes, whatever.
Yeah. We're-
Laplanders. Yeah.
You
just
cursed
all
the
up
world
there.
with IKEA, you son of a bitch.
Hey, have you guys ever noticed how like Finland and Sweden, like that peninsula that they're on, looks like a dick that needed Viagra? Anyway, so moving on. So we're talking about atrocities of the world.
It's called the flaccid country.
That's
Anyway.
right. That's exactly what we are.
Well, it is
Flacids.
cold there.
It is.
We're
It's
the
very
flacids.
cold. Yeah. I mean, we also don't have much of a standing military. We don't invade other people. We have tendency to take care of our own really well. Just saying.
Mm.
Okay.
I'm trying to defend all.
Yeah, and you guys had Volvo and you sold it to freaking China. So there you go.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, because we wanted to stick with IKEA, the best company.
Right. Hey, look at this. I can build 5,000 pieces of furniture with one tool.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You got a
That's
hex
a
wrench? There you go.
Yeah, you give me one Allen wrench. It's all good.
Mm.
I'm sorry, that entire train of thought was just funny to me.
Wait, what is this nail you speak of?
You know, when you
We'll have
actually
no-
go, what's up?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was
Sorry.
going to say, if you actually go to the IKEA store, they have an assortment of other tools there.
Yeah.
They have
Like the
an
people-
electric drill that
They
doesn't
mostly
work
work
very well.
there, yeah.
The
That's
people-
thing.
I was going to say the people designing the furniture, but
Mm.
same joke.
Ba-doom-ba.
Yeah.
it's the-
Same idea.
Variant.
Yeah. Well, they have like this shitty little like tool set that you can get, and it's got like an electric drill that doesn't.
This
fucking
is
really
from
work all that well.
IKEA. This glass case.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There's
Oh, okay.
nothing wood on it.
And the
really?
LED, there's
Okay.
LED lights in there too that are from IKEA. They
All
sell
right.
lights
What
too.
about that lamp back there? Is that an IKEA lamp?
No, that's
Yeah,
from
How about that-
Target.
how about that desk?
Yeah, like Steve, let me ask you a question. Were you a big fan of Fight Club? Are we going to start the entire beginning of Fight Club right now?
Why
Can we
not?
do like an Edward Norton narration, all about like capitalism and fucking buying shit from IKEA?
Need a yin yang table,
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do. Yeah, all right.
but that's ironic.
Ooh, in this scenario, do I get to be Brad Pitt? Because
a
I'm not
chance.
really here.
You can be ugly, Brad Pitt.
Oh, I could be. you know. Honestly, I'm fat enough. I'd probably be
You-
fucking
You look
Imagine
like
the two
Meatloaf's
of
Meatloaf's
them
character.
from Missouri, so that works.
Yeah.
The two of us beating the shit out of each other in a basement. I don't think that would. No one would want to watch that.
Nobody would watch that.
We're like, are they mentally ill?
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody would be like, well, no, there's two
This is
less
a-
of them in the world.
This is like backyard fights or something. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
exactly.
Try Meatloaf singing in the background.
Come on, that'd be hilarious. To me, I actually like when Meatloaf used to perform.
Yeah.
Wait, is Meatloaf dead now?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
died, I think.
No, all right. Yeah, yeah. Heart
He
attack,
hasn't
I'm
been
hoping.
good since the Spice Girls movie.
Did you just say he hasn't been good since the Spice Girls movie?
Yeah.
Have you heard his
Which
son
is
though?
weirdly probably true.
His son's a great singer. Shepherd's Pie.
Oompa. Apparently, there's an inside joke on Shepherd's Pie. Possibly.
It's not that funny.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it's something you guys do every once in a while. You say Shepherd's Pie.
No,
No.
he just finds dumb things funny.
I'm a very visual thinker, and when he said that,
Oh, okay.
I saw a shepherd's pie in a metal tin walk up to a microphone.
I mean, what else would you call his son?
He's probably got a really
Tofu?
dumb name. Yeah. That
Sorry.
no, you're good. That was not bad. I expect his children to have really dull names, like very bland kind of names. I really
Like
do.
Bob.
Right, like maybe Sarah. Sarah's a dull name.
Yeah, there you
John.
go.
Something like that. I don't expect them to have like creative names or some shit.
I don't think
they're-
he was really named Meatloaf. I think that was more of a
Yeah, that
moniker,
wasn't his real name.
I mean, I would like to come up with a bunch of stage names based on white people food. Can have potato salad, tuna casserole.
Coleslaw. Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny. That's funny.
Please welcome to the stage, boiled potato.
Yeah.
I think
Here's a
that's what
Hames.
Eminem is.
Yeah. There you go.
So, Bob,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Mr. Cat.
Oh yeah. Let's go back to our guest.
Does that make you Bobcat?
That's right.
I actually thought that that's actually how he truly talked for a really long time. I thought that's how he talked. And then I, like, not too long ago, saw a newer special he did. And come to find out, no,
He
that's
talks
just a
normally.
voice.
Have you?
Yeah, he's a normal everyday guy.
Bit.
Yeah.
Have you watched any of the movies he's done? Besides, like, Shakes the Clown.
Yeah, I watched Police Academy movies.
Did you see The End of the Fucking World? Not The End of the Fucking World. What is it called? What the fuck is it called? I'm sorry, I have to look it up. There's a movie he directed about this guy who, like, is basically done with everybody. He's just like, he's done with humanity. Like, he hates reality shows, so, like, he plans to go to, like, on America's Got Talent and just murder all the judges because they're mean to people. And
What?
yeah, it's a weird
I don't think
movie.
I've seen this one. I know he's been directing for quite some time.
Yeah.
So.
And I thought he was, like, considered good at it, but that movie does not sound...
You would love that movie.
Oh,
I
really?
would say,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd say he was good at it. I'd say he directs.
Oh, all right. Well,
He's
on
looking
that...
it up. You're cheating.
Yeah,
you got to bring
he's
this
looking
out
up.
of your head. Come on.
No, he can't let Steph
God
shows
Bless
him.
America.
Oh, it's called God Bless America?
It's about a middle-aged man who basically snaps. And
It's about a
decides,
man who
So
dresses
it's-
as Ethel Merman and murders people at variety
fed up
shows.
with the cruelty and stupidity of American culture. So he hates like propagandists and talking heads on news media. He hates
Okay.
reality shows.
So is you.
An unlikely duo team up to whack reality TV stars, bigots, and others they find repugnant.
Did you just say
Did they
I'm
actually get
unlikely
any
to-
reality TV stars to be in the movie? I'm curious.
Oh, that would be funny if they did.
Are there really
I don't
people
think
who
so.
are part of that? Because we're on the verge of a new kind of influx of reality television
They have somebody on it who
because
Is-
of the strikes.
Yeah, I hate reality television. I prefer a fictional story. Like TV and movies are supposed to be entertaining. Don't show me
Right.
reality.
Well,
Like-
and you know it's not really reality.
Oh,
but
yeah, it's not really reality, but like it's still somebody's interpretation of reality. But
Yeah, it's
I don't wanna see
reality
that.
plus.
yeah, I don't want to see that. Like I want a fictional story. By the way, your description there, not really, but like when you first described that movie, it sounded like Falling Down with Michael Douglas. Right? Bob, do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I loved that movie.
It was a good movie.
I thought so. Like it was so cool because he had that buzz cut and he was so like put
Mhm.
together, and then he just started
Snapped.
whooping the crap out of people. I really enjoyed, and he always has the tie, and he always fixes the tie after he beats somebody, and like I thought it was a good movie. Granted, apparently,
he directed World's
became
Greatest
reality.
Dad.
what?
World's Greatest Dad.
Oh, really?
He directed that.
Yeah, that
too.
was Robin Williams.
Yeah, that was Robin Williams. I've seen that. Okay, I
Yeah,
can't
poor
say he's a
Robin
shitty
Williams.
director.
No wonder he's so depressed.
Yeah.
Jeez. Who's your director of your movie? Bobcat. Oh yeah, okay. Sorry.
Oh, who's that guy? Remember that comic nobody could understand in
Remember
the Police
remember
Academy
the
movies?
Police Academy movies? Yeah.
Right?
Well, they made 1 hour photo after Nick. Like it's based on his life.
Yeah.
So.
Have you seen the movie that's based on? It's actually really good.
Oh, wait, there's actually something that 1 Hour Photo is based on?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was a different movie. He
Oh.
was in it. I'm sorry.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Come on,
Insomnia. That's what I'm thinking of.
There
Not
you
1
go.
Hour Photo. Yeah.
All right.
Very similar though. I did like 1 Hour Photo. It was a good movie.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And he played such a different character. Again, an actor playing somebody different than himself.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I personally think that only psychopathic killers should play psychopathic killers.
Well, that's why
We're
Christian
never
Bale
going to
was in
finish this
American
movie if
Psycho.
he actually keeps killing all the victims.
Right? I mean, I think there's a little bit difference of playing a
Unfortunately,
character
Alec
that
Baldwin is in trouble for that. So we're
I think there's a difference in that when it comes to playing a character that you could potentially be, okay, like any one of us could end up snapping and being a killer or some shit if we're put in the right circumstance, compared to something you could never be, right? Like if somebody, I'm just going to use us.
if you can believe that you're going to be a killer, can't you believe that you could be anything?
No, not necessarily, because I don't believe Steve could, wake up tomorrow and I don't know, have diabetes. He could, but
Oh yeah, he could.
Maybe wake up.
That's not a good example. Think of
No, it's
another
not.
one, 'cause that could-
I mean, honest to God, I can't say wake up tomorrow and be a woman because, well, Steve could.
yeah, you can do that. That can
Yeah,
happen.
like there's a bunch of that stuff.
No, you can't
he
wake
can't
up
wake up
tomorrow and have
tomorrow
a
and
whole life experience of somebody who,
right.
like you guys are from the Northeast. So
Yeah.
if you were somebody from the Southwest to the South, you couldn't come up with that experience overnight.
Right. I mean, Steve has no idea what it is to be a Brazilian, or grow up in Brazil. I don't think
but
he could play
he's
that.
had a Brazilian, so we're at least one step closer because he mentioned
That's
it
very
earlier.
true.
I'm a
That's very
Brazilian
true.
in one. What? It's not funny. He laughs at the dumbest things.
You know the trigger, apparently.
And say a really stupid joke. There you go.
Oh, there goes. I told you that was going to happen. I called it even before we got started.
I gotta get him a longer.
You're going to knock that over.
I will spill nothing. I spilled nothing.
And you know what? Thank God that carpet is coffee colored.
Yes, actually, that's probably why it was bought for us that way.
Actually, it's pretty much blood colored, but
Oh, okay.
Well, that's only because we like to, practice what we
It's
preach.
because my favorite movie is
It's American Psycho. Yeah,
American Psycho.
yeah. Actually, I was just listening to Christian Bale talk about doing that movie, and he went into this like weird rant about Phil Collins. Like in the movie, he does it, but then he also did it in this interview. And I thought it was
Maybe he
weird.
can't separate himself from this character.
Right. Well, because he was talking about the character and he was talking about how they conceived the idea of the character and how he would talk. And he was like, well, it was a hard time getting into the mindset because obviously I've never killed anybody. And I was coming at it from this approach. And then he goes on this diatribe about fucking Phil Collins. And he does it in the movie.
When he was speaking, was he sounding more British or more American?
British. He was using his real accent.
His real accent. Okay. Just curious.
And it was just really funny because whoever spliced this video together was counteracting or doing counterpoint with, not counterpoint. They were putting scenes of the movie of him talking about Phil Collins and then showing the real actor
intercutting.
nowadays. Yeah, intercutting.
Yeah.
The two of them. And it was just really funny because apparently it was the same opinion about Phil Collins.
wait. So why do they call him Christian Bale? Is that because he's rejected Christ?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bailed on him.
I know you were going for something there, but his name is Christian Bale, so I couldn't join you in that joke. But anyway,
He's an atheist.
are we
Christian Bale.
bobbling heads for a reason? Yeah, apparently we're bobbling heads. Can we get the blue cat to nod their head?
Kind of.
Yeah, there we go. Kind of. Yeah, there we go.
I'm better on the side to side than I am on the forward backwards.
Seriously, Steve, we need to get this, even if it's only for one episode, dude. I want this.
Okay.
I think this would be awesome. I didn't know this program existed. Remember, I once pitched
there's
this.
lots of avatars nowadays, and so you can just have them in Zoom if you want. This is actually older technology.
Oh, well, I didn't know. Apparently I'm pre 1999. No, so for our comedy group, which I haven't named it at all throughout this entire thing, but we're Quarter Jesters on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. But I pitched the idea. Quarter Jesters. Check us out, man. We got roast comedy up there. We got sketches and improv shows that we've done.
Is that like a big gulp or something? Quarter Jesters?
Yeah, but I pitched the idea of having animated versions of us to be able to do sketches with.
Yeah, you could.
All right. Anyway, so Steve is like, not now.
Steve's like,
yeah, all right.
I don't care about that. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about Nazis and.
Yeah, your two favorite things to talk about: Nazis and more not Nazis.
Nazis and big boobed anime. Thank you.
Big boob.
What other type of anime is there?
I don't know. I don't watch anime, so you have to
Monsters.
tell me.
There's a lot of them that have fucking monsters and
Cthulhu,
shit.
I don't know. What's it?
Aliens. I don't know. I don't watch aliens.
Well, it's all behind your head there. There's one in a French maid's outfit. There's somebody with a sword.
There's a bunch of weird fuckers
in a pink dress or something. A lot of redhead things going on.
Yeah.
Dwight Schrute looking up everybody's skirts over there on the side.
There you
true.
go. It is actually.
Actually, so most of these
I
figures.
just got a text here from Miles, my co-host. It says cooking a la nude. He sent me a cookbook that he's looking at apparently out in the world.
Look up a cookbook called Natural Harvest.
What?
No, I don't think I probably want to do that.
I don't think you
Um,
want to do it either. And I'm sitting
so-
next to this guy.
Most of these figures are from a series. It's actually a video game series that's based on Jungian psychology. So
Oh, really?
yeah. So
Carl Jung.
it's an anime video game series based around Carl Jung's concept of persona, shadow, and that type of stuff.
Personality archetypes and all that jazz.
And
Yeah.
sex or something.
Yeah.
No,
There's
that's
probably
just
something involved.
that's
in there.
just the Japanese like to make their.
Oh, that's the
characters look like
Freudian
that.
one. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
the Freudian.
Well, I mean, Jung did kind of study psychoanalysis as well.
All of them do.
So the whole concept
Well,
is
they used
these young people in Japan
Yeah.
have to accept their shadow
Yes.
and integrate the shadow. But the shadow is a physical manifestation in the game rather than just being this concept.
Uh-huh.
The shadow and the persona are actual real things, and they have to integrate with their shadow self. And
Shadow
Jung
self.
talked about integrating the shadow to be a
Yes.
complete.
Mm.
So I thought it was interesting. That's why I have all these stupid.
I know.
figures.
You also play the video game.
What's the name of the video game? Did you say?
Persona. Persona.
Persona.
I would
Not
imagine there's
bad.
probably a lot of autistic people who like Persona.
I guarantee there's a
Oh.
lot. I guarantee there's a lot. You know, and I just play the weird games that are, you know, popular.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty.
Like Super Mario Brothers.
That's right. I used to.
Dun, 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 dun.
Get that new.
Dun, 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 dun.
He likes to play Tetris and Pong.
It's right, Pong.
Have you guys tried that crazy game called
I
Pong?
was
Yeah, a little bit of Galaga. All right.
trying to play Pong by myself,
Yeah.
one-handed.
I got this state-of-the-art game at home called Frogger.
Yeah. There you go.
I tried to
weren't
cross the
playing
road.
Pong, you were playing Dong. We know it.
Yeah, there you go. So when I was like 15, it was like 1995. My neighbor actually had the actual stand-up arcade of Miss Pac-Man, and I used to go over there
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot and play. I used to love that game.
Yeah.
So true story. True story.
all the
I,
ghosts and everything.
yeah, I do like to obsessively run through mazes. Yeah.
Oh, how
All right.
interesting.
Yeah.
The Maze Runner.
Yeah, right? Which was also a book series that I've never read.
Yeah, it was books and everything. Yeah, it didn't just
So,
read movies.
Bob, I will link your website and your show
Mm-hmm.
in the description
Okay.
of this episode.
Absolutely.
You put it up on, it goes up mainly on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but we're available on all
Okay.
platforms as well as
Sure.
YouTube. So I'll make sure to put that up there. Is there anything that you want to tell people before we wrap up?
I was thinking about
don't do catnip?
having. Huh?
I said, don't do catnip.
Don't do catnip. No, you can do catnip. It's harmless, honestly. It's within the realm of things that you can do. No, I don't. I really don't have anything to plug or anything. Unfortunately, I'm not much of a self promoter for these things. But I mean, if you want to listen, you can. Statikradio.com. But I don't really care if you do. I don't care if you don't. I'm doing what I want, and
Right.
so should you.
Which is a good way
You
to
should
be.
sell some prints of your
Yeah, I don't even have a
Cat?
T-shirt of this character. Yeah, I
no,
should do
your
like you
I was gonna
guys.
say your Stonehenge picture.
Oh,
Oh, my
there's-
Stonehenge picture.
with
I
the-
got alien picture on the other side. I
with
don't
the
know if you can
ominous
see that,
clouds.
but, it's
Alien?
by the lightning bolt is aliens. Yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah. But no,
I think
no.
your
Actually,
cat would
here's
make
what I'll plug. So there's
Yes.
a golden microphone there. Bob Lament, coolest idea. I won a Coolio Award in 2023, and that's what that is.
A
If you don't know what a
Coolio
Coolio
award.
Award is, you can look it up. Look up the
Yeah.
Coolio Awards.
I'm gonna
and,
have to
I
now.
won it. Yeah.
That's
That's
cool.
awesome. Good for you.
I
man.
think your character, or your cat, would make a nice plushie.
Yeah, plushie.
It's
I
true.
think that I
It's
should
true.
get a plushie made.
Make
of
some
this thing,
static,
shouldn't I?
a static radio.
Yeah, we'll
plushies.
do put a little static logo on his shirt, and
Did
yeah.
you-
If you want to, anytime you want to molest me, you can go right ahead with this plushie.
that's exactly
That's
right.
Just
You
cut a
touch
hole right in
the
the back.
plushie, don't touch me.
Yeah, that's right. Touch the plushie, don't touch me. I
That'd
mean,
be
that
like,
could be that could be a bumper sticker.
So when you squeeze it,
Yeah.
it just says, "I'm scared."
Yeah. Quit it! Ow! Quit it!
That finger
Ow,
went in
quit
where?
Wow.
So yeah. So I'm gonna end on that. I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna use that as my my statement there.
Coolio Award.
Yeah, Coolio Award.
Coolio.
So
Look into it.
Bob, we do appreciate you coming on our show. It was awesome having you. I had a good time talking with you. And everybody, staticradio.com, you said?
Sure.
Great. Staticradio.com.
And even if you get it wrong, you'll get it right because I
That's
think
true,
I have
too.
all of them. .net, .org.
Oh, there you go. So if you're interested, check out Bob's show. He's been rocking it for quite some time, which means he probably knows what he's doing at this point. And if he doesn't,
Probably
that's
not.
okay too. Listen to it anyway. Static Radio, and we are on the spectrum. My name is Nick.
Steve.
That's the best you're going to get out of him, everybody. That's the best you're going to get. Thank you
wanna
very
say
much
Snick.
for tuning in, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Thanks very much. Bye.